What's up, everybody? It's your boy T Randolph, aka Fresh G, CorpulentCheckz TV. Giving y'all another dose of this game, dose of this trucking game. A couple of years after the pandemic, trucking kind of got a bad name. People they was used to getting them pandemic numbers. Once they wasn't getting them pandemic numbers, things got to going down, and everybody got to talking about how bad trucking was. The rates was down. A lot of folks was going out of business, trucks sitting on the sideline, people filing for bankruptcy, what have you. But with trucking, you kind of got to have good management skills, because if you don't have good management skills, and really that's in any business, management is crucial, it's key to your success and the growth of your endeavors. Um, During the pandemic, dudes was getting a lot of money. Like I said in another video, a lot of people was getting $4, $5 a mile to move goods. And that was kind of like an all-time high based on the demand that it was for truckers. Because like I say, you had people sitting on the sideline that work for companies. And I mean, who wouldn't? Shit. I would rather get a check for sitting. Well, not me. I like to move. I like to hustle and get out, get my money, you know what I'm saying? Earn mine. I ain't trying to get no handouts. A lot of people, they'll take some free shit any damn wonder why their life look the way it do, because they always looking for something for free. Shit, quality costs. Anything you want life worthwhile costs. It's an exchange value, exchange process. You got to give something to get something. But you had people that was shit getting checks for sitting at home, so shit they needed truckers. They was paying top dollars. You go online, you got people talking about how they became a millionaire in trucking, all the money they're making in trucking. Some of them lying, some of them not. Some of them, you talk to somebody that's been doing this pretty much since 2012. I got roughly 13 years in the game, and I've seen a few things happen. I ain't one of the ones that been out here since the 80s. I ain't old enough yet. You got some guys that's been out here since they seen the deregulation of trucking, you know. Back when Jimmy Hoffa and them was in the game. But when the rates got to going down, I mean, shit, it's still business. It was still money to be made. It's just it wasn't the same amount of money. But the thing, people get over leveraged when things get to going good. It's cyclical. Transportation industry is highly cyclical. So the money it get to flowing in, and what people get to doing, shit, they get to buying cars, jewelry. You got dudes, they have a couple of good weeks. They at the club popping bottles. They hitting the mall, making sure the girl got the handbags and stuff they want. In any business, especially in this business, you have to be saving for a rainy day. You got a truck that's going up and down the highway, day in, day out. Listen, a tire might go out, turbo might go out, head gasket might, but it's all kind of things that can happen in that truck. A tow. A tow is gonna be $650 basic tow. Some of these places, especially if you our complexion and you in the back some of these spots like Nebraska or something like that, bro, they gonna put the tag, they gonna wax you. You might be talking about 1,500, 2,000 to come get that thing off the side of the road, plus a $5,000 to $7,000 repair. So when things going good, you have to you got to consider that. You got to take that into consideration. You got to be stacking for a minute. I would say really your first year, not to say that you can't go have some fun, enjoy life, get you a nice meal or something, do something nice for yourself every now and again. But like your first year out, like, listen, you need to just be stacking and trying to put that thing up, especially if you're not just content with being an owner operator. If you're trying to grow and scale your company, get to your second and third truck, you need to be stacking. Because for one, you want to have your reserve, then you want those deposits coming into coming to your account, then you can build your business line of credit, stuff like that. Go get you another truck. But going out there, upgrading your lifestyle just because you see a couple of dollars coming in, that ain't the thing. Really, I would advise most people, listen, go work for a company first. If you really want to learn the trucking industry or the trucking business, sign up for a company. Work with that company. Most companies, they're not taking nobody less than a year experience anyway. Some is 2 years, some 3 years. But you got your I think Swift, because Swift will train people. I believe Warner, but don't quote me on that because I'm not sure. But I usually look at like their hiring processes and stuff like that. Some of them, they take you fresh out because they're gonna send you out there with that trainer. Then you might be in that cab with somebody else. That sleeper. You got some 300-pound dude that's training you on that top bunk. he might make you get that top bunk because he can't climb up there. You know what I'm saying? So you got to do the training. But listen, get with a company, rock with them for about a year, learn all their processes, learn their systems, learn how they dispatch run, learn how the human resources run. If you were smart, you would be building relationships when you go in there with them places, getting the bill of lading. This some free game, get them bill of ladings, That way you got a whole list of people that you can market to and solicit in the process, As you go to CDL school, get your CDLs. Well, at trucking school just teach you the maneuvers. They don't really teach you about trucking. You learn about trucking out here in these trucking streets. You got to get out here in these streets and really learn about trucking. Because they don't teach you. They ain't teach you, going up and down the mountains with 40,000, 44,000 pounds on the truck. Some of these roads, they got snakes in them. The bridge might say 14 feet clearance, but it's an arch bridge, and you got those arches on the corner. You might be making that turn, then you turn and the trailer clip the arch in the bridge, stuff like that. It's a lot of things you got to really get out here and learn in the streets and not just at school. That's the difference between book smarts and street smarts. You feel me? So yeah, get you a good school, and that's just my advice. Some people like to skip the process. Get their CD because they done heard all the stuff. Get their CDLs and go get them a truck. You see what I'm saying? And once they get their truck, they get out here and then they have all these hiccups because they wasn't properly trained. They wasn't properly laced with the trucking game. So just some things to take into account. Just a few things I wanted to lace you with. Once again, if you need help getting set up, you're interested in getting the business, want to get your motor carrier number, you want to shop around for a truck, get finance for a truck, get your credit on point, any consultation, hit me up, T. Randolph, a.k.a. Fresh G. Hit me at CorpulentCheckz Gmail. I'm out.